I totally agree. One of the things that I was thinking throughout this book is like the relationship between creativity and autonomy. Like you said, it's not necessarily I'm in a role where you have to write stories or movies or something like this, just your little flourishes on things. But if you work in an environment, and I think it can be very binary, where we either encourage creativity to some extent or we stifle it, there's usually not a lot of gray area. And it comes down to sometimes the managers or maybe the culture. If you assemble something in one way and you maybe figure out a little different way to have fun with it or dance while you're doing it, and people are like, hey, listen, let's make sure our quality stays high. I don't want you to do that. Or maybe you put little flourishes on the direct mailers that go out or on your emails or add animations to your social media posts or whatever it might be, right? Some of those types of things. But if a company says, hey, don't do that, or they discourage it, and it's going to just follow the framework, follow the recipe, I feel like that gets really boring for people. Even if you aren't feeling like you're stifled, it just becomes very routine. You want, and not necessarily on a day-to-day basis, to come up with something grand, but I feel like people want the ability to come up with something. Like you said, at your company, to come up with a new idea. Where's the suggestion box at most companies? Do most managers have the appetite to hear a different idea? There are a lot of times, even in this book, he talks about they had a philosophy of you could go in your role to anyone else in the company, regardless of the role, directly, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think in a lot of companies, you are almost required, whether by proclamation or, well, politeness, to go to your boss to give that idea, to hand it off, and maybe they fly it up the chain. But I thought that was interesting that they didn't want impediments to having discussions and flow and creativity.